Hi, this is the website boy from the websiteboy.com, and today we're going to be talking about a main type of control structure called loops. On the last tutorials, we were talking about logical expressions control structures. On this one, we are going to start talking about learning about the main type of control structures, which are loops. And loops allow us to write code that will execute more than once without having to write all that code over and over again. All right, so basically we write the code one time and we can loop, we can make that same code, we can repeat it multiple times, as many times as we want. All right, so it's very useful because sometimes you don't want to write 1,000 lines of code if you don't need to. If you can just write one line of code or 3 lines and make that 1,000 lines automatically. All right, so that's what loops are, and we're going to start with a while loop. All right, there are three main types of loop in PHP: the while loop, the for loop, and the for each loop. On this tutorial, we're going to be talking about the while loop, right? And this is going to give you the basics on loops, and then from there we can talk about the other loops in the other tutorials. All right, let me show you the regular syntax for the while loop in PHP. So now, if you recall before, if you recall this, the if statement, because I'm showing you the if statement because the while loop is very similar to this. The if statement had to have a condition here, evaluate to true in order for this code in the middle to run, right? While loop is the same thing. The only difference is that the while loop will continue to keep running and running and running while this is true. And then when this evaluates to false, then it will stop running. All right, so it will start looping. That's the right word, looping. So the first thing that we got to do in order for a loop to run is we got to set a variable. And I'm going to set this variable, I'm going to name it counter. You can name it whatever you want. This is just for best practices. A lot of programmers use counter, the I for initialize. Oh, Jesus, I can't even pronounce that word. I don't understand what's going on with my tongue. I only slept 2 hours yesterday, so that's probably why. But anyways, so now we set the counter for 0. All right. Now I'm gonna put this variable right here in this parenthesis right here in the loop, and I'm gonna say while counter is less than, let's say, 10, I want you to execute this code right here, right? So the loop is supposed to, because it's not going to do it right now because I got to explain to you something else. While it's supposed to say counter is 0, so the loop goes around and it's supposed to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it will stop, because once it gets to 10, then it will not be less than 10. The counter will be actually equal to 10, and the loop will be false. The condition will be false, and the loop will stop, because this loop will keep going until this condition evaluates to false, because it's true right now. So it keeps looping and looping. Right now it's gonna keep going infinitely because this counter does not increase. You heard me right. It does not increase unless we tell it to. Right now it's not increasing. Right now it's evaluating this condition. It's not doing anything to increase it. We have to increase it manually. I'm gonna show you how that works. The first thing is that I want to run a code every time it loops around. So the first code that I want to write, I want to echo the counter, because the counter, when we make it so it increases, it's gonna go increase to 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I want to display that on the browser. All right, so let's go to that file, and I want to display that counter variable, the value of it right here. I want to display those numbers. So right now, if I run this the way it is, it's just gonna be a lot of zeros here and would never stop. You can try it in your browser there, and you're gonna see that this loop will run for infinity and will never stop. And it could crash your browser. In JavaScript, it would not even let you take the tab off. I think the tab here would not let you even close the browser unless you right click on it, on the icon here below. So I'm not gonna do that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you right now how to actually put a stop to the loop. See, making a loop is very easy. What a lot of people forget, newbies, especially people that are new in programming, is to stop it. But they learn it really fast, because once you you make that mistake once and you don't you don't put a stop to the loop, you learn not to do that again. All right, so we learn fast, right? So anyways, let's go ahead and increment the counter by 1. This operator, addition operator here, all right, is going to increase the loop by 1. This is the same thing as saying this. All right, I just don't want to write it, and it's a short way of writing it. If I say this counter plus 1, that's the same thing as doing this. What we're doing right now is we are grabbing counter and we are adding 1 to it, and then we are assigning it the same value again. That's what we're doing. We're increasing counter by 1. But it's a shorthand version of it, and everybody uses that shorthand version, which is really easy, and you just put plus plus, and that's it. So now that's going to increase and it's going to stop before it reaches to 10, and then we are good to go. If I refresh here, you can see that it does it really fast. It's not going to do it little by little. So we stopped on 9 because we have 10 spaces now, right? Actually, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So as long as this is lower than 10, then it's true until it reaches 10, and then it will stop. So it stops before it reaches 10. All right, if we wanted to go over that, then we'll actually write an 11, right? So we can also say less than or equal than 10, and we do the same thing, right? Actually, it will go to 10. That way we can get to 10, actually. That's what I meant to say. All right, so instead of having a 9 here because it's less than 10, we can have it less or equal to 10. So either or, all right? So that's how we do a while loop, all right? There are many ways that you can, there are many codes that you can write here to do multiple things. Imagine all the possibilities that you can use a while loop to validate all the form fields in a contact form. Let's say you have like 20 fields in a contact form and you want to run a while loop and say, you know what, I want you to go while this is while we have an arrow in this array, I want you to put a error message to the user or something like that. You see that? You can go and go through all the fields and display messages and things like that. That's the type of things that you can do, not with while loops, but with loops in general. But anyways, I want to thank you for watching this tutorial. And if this tutorial helped you understand the while loops and helped you learn something new today, I want you to favorite it, like it, and that's how you can thank me for the tutorials and my time. Again, I want to thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next PHP tutorial. Website Boy out.